I guess we can also start.
All right, but he hears us, yeah? All right.
Not sure if he can hear us. I don't think he can hear us.
Maybe he'll watch VOD later. All right, so from our side, we've managed to finally merge the changes so that tests won't fail that much. And we now have published the version where we publish block headers instead of default call structure that we had before. So now clients shall be more or less synchronized in that regards. So we'll be wondering what you'll see there. After the fixes of some of the issues that you reported on Trello, I get some of my own tests related to timing fail. So I wonder, when you'll be testing Clary, this new version, please take a look at the timing ones. It seems like after we introduce this like checks for timings of the default block, it starts to behave potentially unexpectedly. So please check that. And yeah, there is one more argument now that shall be passed to the Docker when you start up the container, so that you'll be able to get the functionality of simulate up and running. And it's just one simple argument. And yeah, I think that's it with us.
What do you mean by timing stuff?
So
box timestamp?
Yeah. So you asked to introduce the check that the given block timestamp is less than the given by a user. So we're now checking that, and this may lead to some of the tests fail. So if you like post an issue on Trello clarifying that or clarifying what shall be fixed to that will be good. So the basic question would be, if we do that only on validation mode on, or do we do it always? Like this check that the timing is right if it is given.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you.
And Sina?
Yeah, I believe last week the only thing I worked on was what was it? Oh yeah, was it base fee? What were we discussing last week again? Sorry, I'm having very hard difficulty remembering.
It about setting the base fee to 0 on the block level if it's not set on the.
Yes. So yeah, that is implemented. So yeah, basically, like we set base fee to 0 on in non-validating mode if it was not overridden, and for blocks that it is overridden, then they are going to be non-zero. And yeah, I've pushed the changes. I did discover while rebasing against master that one of my tests started failing. So I know there's some issue in there, but it only is there for when you try to override the whole storage of a contract. Pardon me. Otherwise, everything else should be working fine. So cool. Now I guess we can do some testing and see the differences in the block header. I'm kind of curious about this.
Yeah, I need to try it. What about the base fee stuff? Did you implement it as we discussed? And I guess Nethermind doesn't have that implemented yet, as it was only designed on the weekend.
Yeah, we only return it correctly, but we don't generate it correctly. So there is still that issue, and we'll fix it soon.
And you all agree on the things that we discussed over chat, that's how Nethermind wants to be implemented as well?
Could you recite for the VOD version so that everybody would like be would know what happened and what was decided, please.
Check. Sinor is the issue somewhere, but I can't find it now.
There was so one thing is that when the user overrides base fee, if it is lower than the gas price or like max fee per gas, then we still, like in Geth, we still allow them to do this because it's in non-validating mode.
So what would change for the user if you still allowed to do that?
I mean, they chose this base fee. So I assume it's like they chose both the base fee and the gas price. So I assume that in this case, they know what they're doing.
No, the problem is that you can set the base fee for each block level, and if you have the block base fee as 0, then what is the next block's base fee going to be? Is it going to be adjusted based on the previous block, or is it going to be 0? And there's an issue, but the base fee actually cannot be 0 in the adjustment logic. And then if we use always the normal rules, then it kind of, yes. So the issue is that when do you calculate the base fee according to normal rules and when you don't? And we agreed that when in non-validation mode, there should never be the normal calculation rules, and when it's validation true, then they should be always on. And I think the next block space fee should be always the previous block space fee. There was no, it's 0 if it's not set in the non-validation mode. So it's the issue in non-validation mode because sometimes it's 0 and sometimes it's not. So then the client doesn't really know if it should follow the normal rules or not. So we decide that it's always 0 unless it's set explicit to something else.
Yeah, I think we can manage to make it work like that.
How does it work in the Nethermind at the moment?
It definitely doesn't. So it
Okay.
will be done anyway, because I just like tested it, and there is a whole pipeline to return the correct result, but there is no pipeline to set it correctly for now. So we'll make it. We'll implement it, and you'll be able to set it correctly.
Okay, that sounds good. I don't think there's any other spec changes that we have done, and that's something that I still need to write the motivation of why it works like this way.
When you check between us and Geth, could you please like say that they are like matching or where they have mismatched, so that we maybe would freeze the spec next week if it is all fine and dandy?
Yeah, I can try that. The problem is that there will always minor differences, so it has been hard to see that there have been so many different changes that it's hard to say which are the all differences. But I guess now we are getting closer, so there should be only smaller and smaller amount of them.
Yeah, it will always be like 95% same and 5% fluctuating back and forward.
Yeah. So you are now adding that flag, and I guess the point is that then you are pushing those changes to the main version of Nethermind, and then maybe at some point we are making the default that is on by default, and I guess now off by default.
Yes, now it's off by default, and to enable it, you need to explicitly set the flag. And when we'll like look on how it works on your side, look at like the current state of things, and maybe do some more minor fixes, we'll merge it into the master. And finally, me dying each week on the merges will be completed. Because we are like a bit far from the master branch, a bit in some ways.
But is it that you soon should be able to merge it to the master with the flag? Or is that there's a lot of things to be done?
Yeah, currently it's like it's mergeable to the master with the flag, and we'll be just probably waiting for you to confirm that, yeah, that new block structure that we've implemented is correct and aligning with Geth version, or if there is some like major change that we shall implement, we'll do that first and then we'll merge it in.
Okay, yeah. I'll try to do it this week.
Thank you.
Does Geth have that kind of similar kind of flag that allows you to enable and disable the each simulate?
No, there's no flag. So I suppose when we merge it, it will just be enabled.
Yeah, I guess it somewhat makes sense because you cannot actually use the each simulate because it's kind of new method.
Yeah, and I suppose so. I think that I will hold on with the merge until we have some assurance that it's okay and other clients are okay with it and so on.
Yeah.
From that point on, it should become part of the main specs, and so every client should kind of have it.
And to do that, we'll need a spec freeze. So let's push for it, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I can try to do more testing, and now Nethermind should be providing more of those hashes as well, so maybe we can easily identify if there's any issues.
Yep, probably.
Do we have anything else to discuss? And Nethermind also fixed that issue that when that there's no zero value ETH transfers being logged.
Yeah, it is fixed now.
Yeah, good.
So the stuff on Trello that is like the column of fixed shall be more or less fixed. So yeah, please do check that.
Okay, I start going through those. But I guess we can finish now if you don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.